Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is Nick here, back with a brand new video. This one is going to be a little bit different. We're going to kind of dive into CBDCs and kind of talk about my overall opinion on this sort of topic. We've kind of talked about this before, but I really want to go into depth on why I think that this is very much needed. But before we jump into this video, I do want to say if you guys do enjoy cryptocurrency videos and also, want more information on these, definitely leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications on. It helps the channel grow, and it also helps the video get out to more people. But nonetheless, let's jump into this, right? So first and foremost, this tweet is coming from Gold Telegraph. They're basically quoting Ray Dalio. He said, "The Chinese yuan will become a global reserve currency sooner than most people expect," right? And we've been talking about this for some time, right? We were talking about how we believe that, the United States is going to race with China to get this first CBDC out. And, they are trying to say that they're not racing against them, but we all kind of know in the back of our mind that, the United States doesn't like to be last. They pretty much push that agenda all day long. But nonetheless, let's jump into this article here, right? This is pretty much quoting what I just said, right? The U.S. will not race China to develop a CBDC, Fed Chairman Powell said. The U.S. is biding its time to see whether a CBDC was something that would be a good thing for people, Powell said Wednesday. And I do think that a CBDC is going to be very innovative for our infrastructure. Currently, right now, money is kind of useless if you really ask me. We've talked about why I believe this and pretty much why the inflation rates are so extremely high. Right now, it's dangerous, right, to hold anything in real cash. It's just, the dollar's dropping pretty much daily. We're printing cash at an astronomical rate, $6 trillion for bills that are absolutely useless that we don't really need. And just comes down to the idea that we have poor financial individuals in office, right? Especially in Congress. For the most part, I think that we need to focus on something that is going to better our lives and better our financial system. And I think CBDCs are that. So let's kind of read into this, right? This is from April now. So this is a little bit older, but the reason why I talk about this, right, is because of this quote here, right? Speaking after the Fed's latest policy, Jerome Powell reiterated previous statements that it was better to get it right than be first when it comes to developing a central bank digital currency, CBDC. Powell was adamant that China's approach was not the one the U.S. should be taking. And it's very interesting here because we kind of talked about why CBDCs need to come into play. We are still saying that, we're going to keep the US dollar around. Nobody, at least I didn't think that we're going to get rid of the US dollar and pretty much have this world reserve currency in terms of a CBDC. I know a lot of people are saying XRP is going to be the world digital reserve currency. I think when we talk about that, it's kind of, I don't want to say idiotic because it's not going to be like a disrespectful way of saying it, but it's more of a, kind of a hopium sort of thing or like a cult following thing. Like, I don't think that XRP is going to be utilized the way people think it is. I think it's just pretty much the bridge asset to bridge these CBDCs together. And I've said that multiple times, but it's really what I think that it's actually going to be used for. But the reason why I'm quoting this article is because, I think that what they're saying here is very wrong in terms of how they're saying it, right? Because we are definitely in a race for the first CBDC. We have to be, because whoever has the first CBDC out is going to really overall take over the financial market. And I'm not saying that, we won't be seeing a ton of CBDCs getting released because we already actually see that right now, right? We've seen that, India's working on theirs. We've seen that Korea's working on theirs as well. And of course, China and the US are working on theirs, right? So me personally, the reason why I think that CBDCs are huge is because if we come over here to this consumer banking statistic and trends in 2021, a lot of people don't like to use banks due to fees, right? And if we come down here, we can kind of see, first off, this is the amount of money that most people hold in their bank account. Me personally, I never will have a savings account. It does not make sense. You could earn so much higher APY on crypto. Like, even look at this, like the high for interest rates is like 2.4, 3.5, 1.36, like, and that's on the high. The average is actually 0.15, 0.34, and 0.11. It's actually disappointing on what the interest rates for a savings account is, because you don't really even see it at all. I mean, even if you were holding $1 million, like, these statistics are just not worth it at all to have an actual checking or savings account. Not only that, but a lot of banks only insure money up to like $250,000 plus. So it's actually idiotic to really kind of have a savings account. But I'm not gonna go against what anybody else does. If you guys have a savings account, good for you. I'm just saying I personally would not have one. But we also see like monthly maintenance fees, ATM fees, overdraft fees, wire transfer fees. And the reason why I bring up wire transfer fees, a lot of you guys know that I pretty much own my own online business, right? I do graphic design. I own a graphic design agency. We work with a ton of foreign like customers and also employees, right? They're contractors essentially. And our wire transfer fees are astronomical, right? I've used multiple places. PayPal was one of the worst, right? Because fees are astronomical. So for me to transfer money over into euro, right? So one of my employees is from Italy, right? And I transferred him like $3,000. The fees on $3,000 is like almost $400 plus, which is astronomical, right? And even if you do a wire transfer from a bank, you're still looking at $15 to $50 on average, right? And we're seeing it checking, savings, and also money market here. Now, even if we come down here, now this is the main reason why a lot of people look at payment methods in 2000 versus 2015, right? So we're seeing this is 2000 and then this is 2015. So 45 transactions per month in, I think this might be the millions, is done with a debit card compared to 6.6 in 2000. We see credit cards are also kind of up a little bit. Now checks written are up in terms of 2000 versus 2015. Checks are kind of gone. They're kind of useless. And also ACH transfers, which are bank transfers. So we're seeing a lot more digitalized transfers being made, payments being made. But also we're seeing here, while this number is small for now, it can change remarkably quickly, as seen in China, where mobile payments grew from $11 billion to $17 trillion in just 5 years. So the reason why I'm bringing up this article and the reason why I'm talking about CBDCs is because if we come over here to the XRP ledger, right, we've done the overall pretty much research on XRP and the XRP ledger, 3 to 5 seconds to settle a payment, right? And we know with banks that the time to actually settle a payment is a lot longer than that. It's 3 to 5 business days. Sometimes it stretches to 14 days depending on holidays. We need to do better, right? And the reason why I'm bringing up the statistics from XRP is not only from the settlement time, but we also see, the fees, which is 0.0002 of a fraction of a penny, and we also see 1,500 transactions per second. Now, we actually did some research, and this number is actually wrong, right? This is, I think, a throttled transactions per second. We could actually see upwards of 65,000 plus. Now, the good thing here is that on HBAR, if they do sharding, they could basically have unlimited transactions per second, which is massive. So if they utilize XRP plus HBAR being the trust factor and them building it possibly on Hedera, speculation, that would be massive, right? And XRP being the bridge asset to actually, move it faster would be the best interest in terms of the United States, right? But we're also seeing debit cards versus mobile banking, right? Because we're seeing a lot of digitalized payments increasing overall. We also see, mobile banking penetration by race as well, if you really wanted to look into that. But for the most part, we also see debit card users decline as holders increase, right? So a lot of, at the moment, we're seeing a lot of people not utilizing these debit cards and banks as much as, they should be. And the reason why, and if we come down here, right, because now we're talking about like the unbanked and, underbanked. Now, that was a big argument why they were bringing on HBAR for a CBDC. The Fed actually announced that they were bringing HBAR on to work with them in terms of this. But we're also seeing underbanked, unbanked, and stuff due to, in statistics to pretty much states, We see a lot of these are pretty high numbers, but the reasons why is we see not enough money to keep an account, avoiding bank gives more privacy, don't trust banks, and then account fees are too high, right? 27.7%. Account fees unpredictable, 24%, and then we also see the income as well. But the reason why I'm talking about this, right, is because account fees are too high for the overall fees. But to open an XRP Ledger account, I think it's like 20 XRP, which is like $20. You don't get charged at all anymore. And overall, it's a lot cheaper. But with a CBDC, it's getting rid of these banks, right? So technically, we're not going to utilize the XRP Ledger as a bank or anything like that. But we're getting rid of pretty much the middleman, right? We're still going to use the Federal Reserve, and we're going to use pretty much the overall banking structure, but we're avoiding these actual banks like, JP Morgan and Wells Fargo, Bank of America, stuff like that. And the good part about this is we're seeing a lot of these fees get thrown out the window, and the CBDC is pretty much fully in your control. So it also gives you more privacy, a little bit, if you would say, because all payments are going to be tracked in a digital form. But for the most part, a CBDC would be massive because we're going to be utilizing XRP and HBAR, most likely, right? Because we already got confirmation that HBAR is going to essentially be the scalable and also secure infrastructure for the CBDC. They were already talking about with Project New Dawn, which is the CBDC overall. But what's cool about this overall is because, when we introduce a CBDC into the financial system, we're going to see a lot of these problems that are being recognized here kind of get thrown out the window. Now, this whole avoiding banks gives more privacy, that might not be a big pain point that we're going to clear up. It actually might make things a little bit worse overall for that one. But for the most part, the reason why we need CBDCs is because it helps avoid fees. It helps individuals, pretty much use a digital banking system that we obviously seen that is ever growing up here. But like I said, I absolutely hate banks myself. I think banks are a terrible way of dealing with finance. They're actually untrustworthy as well, in my opinion. Now, they do a good diligence in terms of getting your money back if somebody scams you or anything like that. That's good. But for the most part, we definitely need to be the first in terms of a CBDC. Even though they don't want to race China to it, I think that, we're pretty much on the cusp of, we need to look at other options. We have the XRP Ledger, right? We could build on the XRP Ledger. We could utilize the ledger to actually have something work efficiently, because even a CBDC, once it's implemented, doesn't mean that it's better than cash or anything like that. Technically speaking, it is still inefficient overall to use it. So to actually make it efficiently useful, it needs to utilize something like the XRP Ledger or something like Hedera Hashgraph's public network, right? So basically what I'm trying to tell you guys is when a CBDC is going to be released in the United States, right, and you're holding XRP or you're holding HBAR or TEL or some sort of future financial infrastructure asset that is a piece of the future finance pretty much world, right? You're not going to have to worry about market cap or anything like that, because it's going to help solve a big portion of a problem, right? We've seen here, things are ever growing in terms of overall finance, right? Because we see $11 billion to $17 trillion in just 5 years. That is how fast things grow when you're bringing on something that is innovative overall in terms of technicals and also in terms of overall, innovation, right? And that's what a CBDC will be, right? It's going to help alleviate those fees. It's going to help move money from the United States to China to Italy. It's going to help businesses like I own, right? It's going to help small businesses. It's going to help any sort of business that's moving money, over to foreign exchanges or anything like that, by avoiding those high amounts of fees. And not only that, but holding money in a CBDC is going to essentially be like holding money in a bank, but it's going to be a lot more secure overall. Now, of course, they do have to test it and make sure that it is, pretty much safe. But if they're using XRP's ledger, it's going to be fast, scalable, and low cost. Now, if they are utilizing HBAR, basically their network, for the overall, I would say, infrastructure, for the security purposes, then it wouldn't have a problem with security, because we already know that HBAR and Hedera is one of the most secure public networks out there right now. But nonetheless, let me know what you guys think. I mean, honestly, I think a CBDC is going to be great for us. Like I said, the United States, the currency that we're using right now is terrible. It's inflated massively. Not only that, but it drops in value pretty much daily. So me personally, I think a CBDC would be very interesting to really see put into place. And I honestly think that it's going to happen within the next at least 5 years. We're gonna see pretty much anybody and everyone utilize a CBDC in some sort of way, and it's going to utilize one of these assets like XRP or Hedera in a way that people don't even recognize, but we do, because we are holding it and we've done the research and we've been looking at it and researching it overall. So me personally, I'm very excited for this, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Nonetheless, I hope that you guys are having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out.